नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः। हरि ओम्। Hari Om Sitaram to everybody, Pandita Vishkar and all the execs and devotees here today. It is wonderful to be back here at the Lakshmi Narayan Mandir in Breeden Hoop. We'll spend a few minutes chanting Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. I'll chant, you all please repeat, okay? Nice to be here again with all of you. We are seeing this wonderful text, as Vishnuji said. We're seeing this wonderful text called the Mahabharata. Mahabharata is a huge epic that talks about anything possible that you can think about in this universe. Psychology, ethics, politics, warfare, economics, how to be a good king, what to do before you die. Any possible topic you can think about in this world, it is included in this great Mahabharata. We are studying the Mahabharata. Tonight is night 13 of 14. We're seeing the main storyline of this epic. And the main storyline is set in a kingdom called Hastinapura. Hastinapur was ruled by a king called Dhritarashtra at this point in time. Dhritarashtra happens to be a blind king. And the law is that somebody who's blind cannot lead the kingdom. And so even though he was the eldest son, he was not supposed to be the king. The kingdom was given to his younger brother, whose name was Pandu. Pandu died at a young age, and so because there was nobody else and the children were not old enough, in the interim, Dhritarashtra was sitting on the throne. Now Dhritarashtra felt that it was unfair. Let's just sing for a minute. As I was saying, this Dhritarashtra, blind king, felt that his son should be king. But actually the king was supposed to go to the true king's son. His name was Yudhishthira. So here you have Dhritarashtra, the blind king, with his son Duryodhana, who also wants the throne, and he is a wicked fellow. He has 100 siblings, 99 brothers and 1 sister, and 1 half-brother, actually. So there are 102 children in total who are children of Dhritarashtra. On the other side, you have 5 Pandavas, they're called. Yudhishthira is the oldest, Bhima, Arjuna, the famous Arjuna, Nakula, and Sahadev. Right. So now, these Pandavas and these Kauravas, they have like an ancient feud as though going on. And it reaches a point where war is inevitable because the adharma of the Kauravas has become so much that it cannot be curbed by anything but fight. And so the Pandavas and the Kauravas go to fight, not for land but for dharma. It is a fight between dharma and adharma, between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. And this fight between the Pandavas and Kauravas is happening on the Kurukshetra, right? The battlefield that is called the Kurukshetra. And it is also happening in our own minds. There are the Pandavas, the good qualities in our mind, few of them. And then there are the Kauravas, the countless negative qualities that are in our mind. And they're always fighting with each other. We have now reached the section where it is the 16th day of the war. 16th day of the war going on. There are 18 days in the war. We've reached number 16. We're almost at the end of the war. Now, there are countless Mahabharata characters. In fact, if someone is listening for the first time or listens to a little snippet, you can get overwhelmed by just the number of names. Forget the story. The names of the characters are so many you can barely keep track of who is who. It doesn't matter whether we remember the names or not. When we study the Mahabharata, we must at least learn from the actions that they did and the consequences that came as a result of those actions. Okay, now the 16th day of this war has begun. On this day, what happens is Duryodhana, the Kauravas' leader, the wicked Duryodhana who wants to be king, his best friend is called Karna. Karna happens to also be the brother of the Pandavas, but they don't know. He grew up as an orphan. He was brought up by another family. And this Karna was Duryodhana's best friend. He sided with him, he sides with him for everything. And recently he finds out that he's actually the eldest brother of the Pandavas. But because of his loyalty to his friend, he doesn't switch sides. Even though Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, go, fight with your brothers, fight for dharma. He says, no, I cannot leave my friend. And so now, this Karna is put in charge of the army because the previous commander-in-chief just died yesterday. Karna was made commander-in-chief, and Duryodhana felt like now we are definitely going to win the war. Because everybody who had been a commander-in-chief, they were fighting for the Kauravas, but their heart was actually with the Pandavas. And so he thought, definitely we're going to win now. He didn't know that now Karna actually also has love for the Pandavas. But Karna said, I will definitely kill Arjuna tomorrow. Like this he speaks, right? So it means today. Today's day 16. He says, I will definitely kill Arjuna today. Well, the day starts. And the armies, when the war had begun, were so vast. But now on day 16, the armies are so small because such destruction has happened over the past 15 days. And Karna, he led righteously. He was a righteous leader on their side. He was fighting as he should have, but he didn't break any of the rules of the war like the previous leader just did. Dronacharya broke every single possible rule that had been set for this Mahabharata war. Karna comes face to face with his brother Nakula. Nakula does not know it is his brother, but Karna knows. And Karna defeats him effortlessly. He breaks his bow, he kills his charioteer, he kills his horses, he breaks his chariot, he makes Nakula weaponless and helpless. And at that time, he tells Nakula that, don't be ashamed that you lost to me. One day you will be proud that you got to fight with me. Go now, my child, fight with someone who is your equal. He had the chance to kill him, but he didn't, because he had made a promise to his mother. He just found out she was his mother, and he made a promise to her that she will always have 5 children. He will spare the other 4, but between him and Arjuna, 1 will survive. He will only fight with Arjuna, and Arjuna will kill him, or he will kill Arjuna. And so Duryodhana sees that he didn't kill Nakula when he had a chance, but Duryodhana never says anything against Karna. And only Bhagavan Sri Krishna saw the tears in Karna's eyes at that time. Now the 16th day, a lot of fighting happened. Karna looked resplendent like the sun because he is son of the sun god, right? Surya Devata is his father. But nothing remarkable happened on the 16th day. The war ended. That means at the end of when the sun set, everyone went to rest. Now at night, on the 16th night, Duryodhana and Karna are talking, and they're saying, I have not forgotten my oath. Tomorrow for sure, I will kill Arjuna or I will be killed by him. But tomorrow Arjuna and I are going to fight. This is my promise to you. And Duryodhana was depending on Karna for victory of this battle. And at this time, Karna tells Duryodhana how he is superior to Arjuna in many ways. He tells him all the divine weapons that he's been given. He reminds Duryodhana about his great teachers. And he also says, but at the same time, look at what Arjuna has. Arjuna has a divine chariot. He has divine horses. He has Bhagavan Sri Krishna himself being his charioteer. So actually, Arjuna has the upper hand because he has a great charioteer. If I am to fight Arjuna, I will also need a superior charioteer. And so he says, he says, if Shalya becomes my charioteer, then I can face Arjuna. Shalya was a very, very, very powerful warrior on the Kaurava side. But he ended up on the Kaurava side by trickery, because he is actually the Mamu, the maternal uncle of Nakula and Sahadeva. And so now Duryodhana says, don't worry, I will ask Shalya to be your charioteer. And Karna knows that this is his last night with Duryodhana. He knows, tomorrow I'm going to face Arjuna, and Arjuna is going to kill me. I know, he knows that. And he goes and he gives Duryodhana a final hug, and with tears in his eyes, Duryodhana doesn't know that he knows he's going to die. But with great love, he goes and he gives Duryodhana a hug, and he leaves. And he goes back to his tent, and at this time, his whole life flashes in front of his eyes. Actually, before any great warrior dies, in the Mahabharata, you will see that their whole life flashes before them, and everything that they did comes to their mind. All the good things, the bad things come to their mind. And so he remembers his mothers. Well, he remembers the mother who brought him up, Radha. That is why his name is Radheya. He remembers his father, who is his adopted father, who is a charioteer. He remembers his birth mother, who is Kunti, the mother of the Pandavas. He remembers how he went and he lied to his guru to get knowledge of how to use the weapons that he has. And he remembers the curse that his guru gave him, that because you took this knowledge from me by lying, when you need this knowledge the most, you're going to forget it. This was his curse. He remembers how he mistakenly killed a cow, thinking it was a deer. And a Brahmana cursed him, saying, just like you killed this helpless cow, in your weakest moment against your enemy, you will also be killed like you killed this cow. And so he remembers all these things. He remembers how he had a kavach and kundalas. He had this divine armor and divine earrings, because of which he was invincible. But unfortunately, it was taken away from him by Indra, who is Arjuna's father. And in return, he got this Shakti weapon. But he had to use this Shakti weapon he was saving for Arjuna for another warrior on the battlefield. And so he thinks about all of these things, and he thinks how the charioteer of Arjuna is Bhagavan Sri Krishna. And he knows Bhagavan Krishna is the Lord of the universe. And he has love for Bhagavan Sri Krishna. But he didn't have the power to choose dharma over adharma. And he thinks about all of these things, and he feels happy that he's going to die tomorrow, so he doesn't need to humiliate his brothers anymore. He doesn't need to murder his brother's children. And he thinks to himself that, tomorrow is my day, and he cannot sleep. So this is Karna. Now on the 17th day of war, Duryodhana goes and approaches Shalya. Remember, Shalya is the Mamu of the Pandavas. And he says to him, I would like you to be the charioteer of Karna. Now Karna, nobody knows who his real mother is, right? So everyone thinks he's the son of a charioteer. And so this Shalya, who is such a great warrior, he says, you want me to be the charioteer of a charioteer's son? Like, what kind of thing are you asking me to do? I am such a great person, and you're asking me for such a low thing. And Duryodhana, he was a great politician. He had a real special way with words. And so he says to Shalya with great humility that, actually no, I am not asking you to do something that is below your dignity. He says, I know that this Karna is a Kshatriya. I know he is a warrior. He's not actually the son of a charioteer. And it is going to be a great thing for you to actually be his charioteer. But that is not the point. He says the point is, look at who Arjuna's charioteer is. Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And he says, there is no one on our side or in this whole war that is greater than Krishna except you. And that is why I am asking you to be the charioteer of Karna, because when he faces Arjuna, he is going to need a greater charioteer. And so now Shalya is pleased with Duryodhana's words, and he says, okay, fine. And he says, but my tongue is very sharp. I will say things to Karna that will hurt him, so he better be ready for that. And so Duryodhana says, no problem about that. And Karna also thanks Shalya, and he goes to get the chariot ready. When Shalya was tricked into going onto the Kaurava's side, Yudhishthira had said, I know they're going to ask you to be Karna's charioteer one day. On that day, I want you to use words that will bring his spirits down. You know, it is a mental battle as much as it is a physical battle, right? And so Arjuna, I'm worried. This Radheya, this Karna is so powerful that you need to please speak, like praise Arjuna and bring him down so that his morale is a little dampened. And so this he had promised Yudhishthira way back when, before the war started. And so he starts to tell, Karna, why are you even going to try to fight Arjuna? He's such a more superior warrior than you. And why are you fighting this battle? And all kinds of things he says to try and demoralize Karna. And Karna says, I don't know what you're trying to do, but if you're trying to demoralize me, it has worked. Now please stop talking. And after that, Shalya keeps quiet. Now, Karna goes. He knows he's going to his death. Who can go with a smile on their face to face their death? It is a great thing actually that he did. But he did it to go and please his friend Duryodhana. And on this day he was fighting so valiantly that the description given there is that the Pandava army was being destroyed like when the sun comes out and it just dissolves the snow that is there. Like the Pandava army was melting in front of their eyes, right? And he wanted to go and fight with Yudhishthira. He had already fought with Bhima, he had already fought with Nakula, he had already fought with Sahadev, and he had let all of them go. He had left them without killing them, being able to kill them. And he thought to himself, I want my mother to know. I want Kunti to know I had a chance to kill every single one of them. And I didn't. I kept my word. And so he goes to fight with Yudhishthira. And he tells Yudhishthira, you are such a great man. I am pleased to be with you for a while. I'm happy that I get the chance to come face to face with you. Because he's speaking to his younger brother. And there's love in his heart. And he fights with him. And it pains him to cause pain to Yudhishthira. But he fights so hard that Yudhishthira starts to bleed. And he's in so much pain. And he tells Yudhishthira, you please go. Please go. He lets him go, being able to kill him. And so Bhima gets so angry that how he could insult Yudhishthira like that. But he knows he has his own battle to fight, and he's like, I'm going to let Arjuna deal with this Karna. And he leaves it. He doesn't do anything. Now, while Karna is fighting, he's actually a magnificent warrior. And it doesn't matter if you are on the enemy side. Where you see magnificence in talent, you appreciate it. And so Arjuna sees Karna fighting, and he tells Bhagavan Krishna, this Karna is such a wonderful warrior. He's magnificent. And Krishna agrees. Anyways, both Arjuna and Karna are trying to get closer and closer to each other to fight. But other warriors keep coming in between and stopping them from coming to each other. So at one point, someone called Ashwathama, the son of the guru of the Pandavas and Kauravas, his name was Dronacharya, he comes in between to fight with Arjuna. Ashwathama comes to fight with Arjuna. And Arjuna starts to fight softly with him. And Bhagavan Shri Krishna gets angry with Arjuna. And he says, what is it, Arjuna? You have too much attachment. You're too soft. Your guru came in front of you, you couldn't fight with him. Your guru's son has come to fight you, you cannot fight him properly. Have you forgotten the unjust things he has done? Fight with him properly. Why do you keep forgetting your duty? Like this he speaks to Arjuna. The number of times he had to yell at Arjuna and say, stop being attached. Do your duty. You cannot even count the number of times it has come. He says you always forget your duty at a critical moment like this. And so Arjuna gets riled up now and he starts to fight properly and he defeats this Ashwathama and Ashwathama goes away. Now, Arjuna finds out that Yudhishthira was hurt very badly by Karna. And so he goes now into Yudhishthira's tent to see Yudhishthira and see if he's okay. And Yudhishthira sees Arjuna coming and he thinks that Arjuna has killed Karna. And so he starts to praise Arjuna and he's like, I knew you could kill Karna, you're so great, I'm so happy, I'm so pleased with you. And Arjuna looks at him and he says, no, I came to see you because I heard you were hurt. I haven't fought with Karna yet. And Yudhishthira, he's getting impatient and he's angry and so many people are dying and he insults Arjuna's bow. Arjuna has a bow called the Gandiva. And that is Arjuna's most prized possession in the world. You know teenagers, how they love their phone nowadays? It is their most prized possession. If someone tries to touch it also, you know how they get angry? Well, imagine thousands of times that much Arjuna loved his bow. And he had taken an oath that if anybody insults this bow of mine, I'm going to kill them right then and there. These warriors, the oaths that they used to take was really something. But anyways, so now Arjuna gets mad and he's like, Yudhishthira insulted my bow, and he gets ready to kill him. And Bhagavan Krishna says, Arjuna, what are you doing? You can't fight with your brother. And he says, but I took this oath. And so Bhagavan Shri Krishna said, well, to insult someone who is great is equal to, in our Shastras, if you insult someone who is great, it is considered equal to killing them. So Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, don't kill him with your weapons, kill him with your words, like that. And so Arjuna insults Yudhishthira now. He says all kinds of things to him, and instead of using the respectful form of, you know, in Hindi we have tum or tu and aap, like we have, you speak to an elder in a different way than you speak to an equal. And so he starts to speak Yudhishthira like an equal instead of like an elder. And then he feels like, okay, he's done, he's insulted him now. He stops talking, and now he picks up his sword to kill himself. And Bhagavan Shri Krishna is like, what are you doing now? And he says, no, I cannot live having insulted my brother like this. And Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, oh God. He says, okay, listen. If you praise yourself in front of someone great, in our Shastras, that is considered like suicide. Right? If you go on praising yourself. So now Arjuna starts to praise himself and he says, because of me, this person is dead and this person is dead, and it is because of me we are winning, and it is because of me this, and watch what I do, and look how great I am. And finally, after praising himself, he keeps quiet and he goes and he touches Yudhishthira's feet, he does pranams, he gets his blessings, and now he goes. See how Bhagavan Krishna saves him? He had taken an oath, but Bhagavan Shri Krishna showed him how to get around that oath, because he needed to do his duty. Anyways, individual oaths always take lower precedence than the greater good. Bhagavan shows this over and over again. Anyways, Bhagavan Shri Krishna reminds Arjuna that you have sworn to kill Karna. Now let me tell you, Karna is not an easy opponent. He's not someone you're going to fight with easily. He's better than you actually. He's a brilliant fighter, he's a noble person, and you are going to have the good fortune of fighting with him and killing him. This is what he says. And Arjuna says, Bhagavan Shri Krishna, I have you with me. So if I do what you say, I know I will be able to defeat him. This is Arjuna's response to Bhagavan Krishna. And so now Arjuna heads to go and look for Karna. While he's going to look for Karna on the battlefield, Bhima starts to fight with Duryodhana's brother called Dushasana. Duryodhana had 99 other brothers, but his top gang leader, equally wicked as him, his second brother was called Dushasana. And Dushasana, in an extremely despicable act, 14 years ago, he had gone and he had pulled the queen of the Pandavas by her hair and brought her to the assembly hall, and he had attempted to disrobe her in front of all the people over there. And at that time, Bhima had taken a vow that he would kill this Dushasana with his own hands, and he would cut off the hand that touched Draupadi, and that he would rip open his chest and he would drink his blood. This was a vow that he took in a moment of anger, seeing what was done to his wife in this sabha. And so now he fights with Dushasana. And he fights so hard that he finally cuts off his hand, just like he had promised. And then in front of everybody, no one can do anything. Everyone is watching, and they watch Bhima rip open with his hands the chest of his brother, or cousin, brother. And he sees him take this blood and drink it like he promised. It was a gruesome sight. But Bhima had to fulfill the oath that he took. He had also promised Draupadi that he would bring the blood of this Dushasana for her to wash her hair. She had taken an oath she wouldn't tie her hair until she washed it with his blood. And so he takes the blood for Draupadi's hair. Now Karna could not bear to see what just happened to Dushasana. And Shalya said to him, "You have to make yourself strong. This kind of thing happens. We're in the middle of a war. Make yourself strong." Actually, at this point, Shalya, forget saying things to insult Karna, forget saying nothing. He had become so mesmerized by Karna's capacity to fight and his greatness that he was now in awe of Karna and he was praising him. He fell in love with Karna at this point, right? And so now Karna and Arjuna finally meet. And Shalya says, "You will certainly kill Arjuna," he says to him. And he says, "You are a great hero." And Karna feels so grateful to be praised by somebody so great. Now, the two greatest archers in the world finally come face to face. On day 17, Arjuna comes face to face with Karna. Karna knows this is his brother. Arjuna does not know. And the two of them face each other like Indra and Surya. Actually, they were sons of Indra and Surya. Arjuna was son of Indra and Karna was son of Surya. And they start to fight. And Shalya says, "If you don't win, I will kill Arjuna and Krishna for you." Right? And Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, "Arjuna, you are." See, Krishna says another thing. He says, "You are sure to win. You are going to win." And he says, "In case you don't win, I will kill those two for you, but I know you're going to win." Right? He says with confidence that you are going to win. Now both had divine weapons, and they both started to fight. Just before they started to fight, Ashwathama, remember the one who had just been defeated by Arjuna, son of the Guru, he said to Duryodhana, "Duryodhana, they're getting ready to kill each other. There's still time to stop this war. Karna is going to lose. You're going to lose your best friend. You're not going to be able to live without him. Stop it. Let Karna and Arjuna be friends. Let everyone who is remaining live. Stop this now. I will speak to them. Bhagavan Krishna will agree to peace. Yudhishthira will agree to peace. They will all listen to them. Stop this now. Please, just stop this." And Duryodhana says, "Now that Dushasana is killed, I cannot think of anything else. This war has to continue." And so the duel starts, and Arjuna and Karna start to fight. And Karna fights so well that he covers both Arjuna and Krishna in his arrows in the blink of an eye, like effortlessly. And Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, "Arjuna, why are you hesitating? Remember the purpose of your birth. Start to fight." And Arjuna seeing Karna, and he's praising him in his mind. And Karna is seeing Arjuna, and he's praising him in his mind. And they're both thinking what wonderful warriors the other one is. And Karna is thinking, but he's thinking, look how wonderful my brother is. That is the feeling that is in his heart. Huh? But now the fighting gets serious. And Karna sends this weapon called the Naga Astra, a weapon that turns into a snake and kills whoever it hits. If this Astra is sent to you, you're going to die 100%. And so now everybody on the battlefield is watching this duel. And everybody's eyes turn to them. And they think Arjuna's dead because this weapon is undefeatable. And at this time, Shalya says, Karna, don't send it to his neck. Send it to his chest. What if you miss? And Karna says a warrior never changes his aim. And so he sends this to go to Arjuna's neck to strangle him. And as this is going, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, he pulls the horses in such a way that they bend down. And the chariot comes down. And this weapon, instead of going to Arjuna's neck, it goes to Arjuna's crown. And it knocks off Arjuna's crown, but Arjuna is saved. And at this point, Karna realizes, I have nothing that can hurt Arjuna. That's it. I don't have any weapons again. Because of Krishna, he's going to survive. And tears are streaming down his face, but the battle is continuing. And at one point, his chariot wheel gets stuck in the mud where he's fighting. And at that time, he remembers how he killed that poor innocent calf. And he knows that his time has come. He knows that now he's helpless, his time has come. And he gets down to try to pull this chariot wheel up, and then he goes back and fights, and he gets down and he pulls the chariot wheel up and he goes up to fight, and he's trying to fight and he's doing his best, and then suddenly he cannot remember the mantras to invoke all of these astras that his guru taught him. And he realizes that the curse of his guru has come true. At the time that he needs it the most, he cannot remember the invocations for these mantras. And now he's trying to pull the chariot wheel out of the ground, and Arjuna's waiting. And he tells Arjuna, just give me a few minutes, let me pull this wheel out and let us go to some other place and all of that, and then we can continue to fight. It's not right, let's fight fairly. It's not right for you to send your astra to me when I'm unprepared, because I have always walked the path of dharma. When he says this, Bhagavan Sri Krishna gets angry. He says, you want fair treatment from Arjuna now? How dare you say that you have always followed dharma? And he reminds Karna of the countless things that he did against the Pandavas that were totally adharmic. And he says, don't you dare call on dharma. You disgust me by demanding fairness in this fight, because you have not followed dharma. How dare you expect dharma to protect you now, right? And now Karna, hearing this, he bows his head and he can't say anything because he knows it's true. And he goes back knowing his fate, and he tries to lift his chariot wheel, and at this time Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, shoot. Then Arjuna takes his arrow and he shoots, and Karna's head gets chopped off, and that is the end of Karna. Now there are so many questions around this story, and there are so many things to learn, so we'll just take a couple of minutes and reflect a little bit. The first thing is that nobody can escape the law of karma. The law of karma is such that if you do something, you have to face the result of it, right? He had to face the result of the curses that were given to him for killing that cow innocently and for lying to his guru. His guru had told him when he gave him that knowledge that always use this knowledge to protect dharma. But instead of protecting dharma, he was doing the exact opposite. And the curse of his guru had to come true. And so we have to remember, we always have to be ready to face the karma that is going to come to us. And we can either complain or accept it gracefully, but it is going to come. Karna accepted it very gracefully. I mean, he did say at one point, let me fight fairly and all. But overall, he faced it very, very gracefully. He went to his death, right? The second thing is, it is very, very easy to tell people to practice dharma, even though we don't. How many times have you asked people to be honest, but you have not been honest? Is it not that big companies, they try to cheat the system, but they want their accountant to be honest? Is it not how it works? Or in the mafia, they lie to the whole world, but if you are in the mafia, they expect you to be honest. So you don't follow dharma, but you expect others to follow dharma. It's very easy to tell people to practice dharma without practicing it. The third principle, very important. Dharma cannot protect someone who does not protect dharma. It is impossible. We use a philosophy of convenience, saying, you should be good, you should follow dharma, you should follow the rules, you should follow the laws. But if you don't follow it, the laws cannot protect you. You know that. If someone breaks laws in society also, they lose the privilege of life, isn't it? So it is something that we follow in the world also. So you can't say, I will do all wrong things, but nothing wrong should happen to me. If you don't follow dharma, dharma cannot protect you, and you don't have any right to ask dharma to protect you. The last thing is, Bhagavan Sri Krishna actually gave Karna what he wanted. What do you mean? See, what Karna really wanted was fame. That was the thing he wanted the most since he was young. He wanted everlasting fame. Now if Karna and Arjuna had fought, and Karna had been defeated fairly by Arjuna, the world would not have said, Karna is so great, Karna was undefeatable, Karna was such a great warrior. He wouldn't have been such a great warrior if he was defeated. The other thing is, so then Arjuna's name was tainted because of what happened. Bhagavan Krishna's name was tainted because of what happened. But in the end, Karna was glorified. And what did Karna want? He wanted fame, he wanted glorification, and that is exactly what he wanted. So Bhagavan Sri Krishna orchestrated this whole thing, so actually he got what he wanted. Everything will have its own explanation in the Mahabharata, but we can rest assured, if Bhagavan Sri Krishna says something should be done, that means that it is the right thing to do. Because the only person whose decisions are not questionable is Bhagavan Krishna. He says he comes to re-establish dharma. How will he do adharma if he's trying to re-establish dharma? Right? So his actions are to be understood, not questioned. Anyways, like this, Karna was killed. And in spite of doing so much adharma, he is remembered as such a noble person. That is because of the blessings of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Now there is a Karna in us. There is a Karna in us that does not want to receive the, what is it called? That is not ready to accept the results for the actions that we have done. And we complain and we say it is not fair and we say, why is it happening to me? Do we not? There's a Karna in us. Then there's a Karna in us who blames fate. Karna was like, how unfair. I don't know who my parents are. I wasn't allowed to study with a great guru, then I got cursed and this, and how unfortunate my life events were, and how unfortunate, how he pitied himself for his life circumstances. Do we not pity ourselves for the circumstances that come in our life? But the circumstances that have come into our life for a reason. And so there's a Karna in us that blames fate instead of facing things as they are. Karna was given the opportunity. The other thing, there's another Karna in us. When Bhagavan Sri Krishna said, Karna, come, fight for the Pandavas, go to your brothers, they will make you the king of the world. Karna said, I cannot leave Duryodhana. There's a Karna in us that feels like it is too late to stop doing the wrong thing and start doing the right thing. And we give excuses to ourselves that I have gone down this road for too long and I cannot change. But we chant, one of the verses in the beginning we chanted, Bhagavan says, even if the most despicable, worst sinner possible is there in this world, and they make up their mind to be good, and they surrender to me completely, I consider them at that moment itself a sadhu. There's always an opportunity to reform. But the Karna in us makes us feel it is too late. There's also a Karna in us that feels indebted. The Karna in us looks for name and fame. Is it not? Everybody's living their life to be known. When children go on Facebook and Instagram and all, they want likes and they want they want their post to go viral and all kinds of things. People are looking for name and fame. Leave that. Even in every community, in every family, the thing that people desire most is name and fame. Correct or wrong? From the time a child is little, Mom, look how nice my drawing is. They want their mom to say, yes, it's so beautiful. Meanwhile, it's just like a scribble. Right? From the time we are young, we want to be praised, we want name and fame. And we become indebted to whoever it is that gives us the opportunity for that name and fame. Duryodhana gave Karna the opportunity for name and fame, and so he became indebted to Duryodhana. He became indebted to the one who was following adharma. We are exactly like Karna. We go and we become indebted to people who give us money, who give us name, who give us fame, and then we feel helpless to now do the right thing. If we want to conquer the Karna in us, and Karna was, by birth, he was divine. Son of Surya Devata, son of Kunti Devi. He was by birth divine. But we are also by birth divine. If you choose Krishna, if you choose Dharma, you will be protected. And if you don't, it doesn't matter how divine your birth is, you're on your own. Now, people say, but Krishna chose Arjuna's side. That is not true. See, in this battle, Arjuna is Indra and Karna is Surya. And whose side does he choose? Does he choose Arjuna/Indra? You go back to Ramayana, one yuga ago, and when Sugriva and Bali come face to face, one is Surya and one is Indra. Sugriva is Surya and Bali is Indra. Who does he choose? Sugriva, who is Surya. Bhagavan does not choose sides. We choose. If we choose Bhagavan's side, then Bhagavan, it is like Bhagavan chose us. If we don't choose Bhagavan's side, he's where he is. This is his side. He's on the path of Dharma. If you are on the path of Dharma, you have chosen him. You're on his side. He will protect you. So simple, isn't it? So like this, there's a Karna in us and we have to fight him. Okay, now, when Duryodhana hears that Karna is dead, he is just miserable beyond words, because Karna was actually his best friend in the whole entire world. And he, with sorrow now, goes to his grandfather, who also fought. I'm not going to go into his story because it's a lot of background, but his grandfather Bhishma, he goes to him and he's crying to him and he's saying, Karna is dead, I can't live anymore, I can't imagine anything anymore. And Bhishma said he was a Kshatriya and he died like a Kshatriya. He was a warrior and he died like a warrior. And Duryodhana said, what do you mean he was a warrior? You know he was a Kshatriya? And Bhishma says, yes, I knew. And Duryodhana says, tell me, who was he? And Bhishma said, well, I promised I wouldn't tell him until you were dead. But I told him I will tell you after so you can see how much he loved you. And at that time he makes Duryodhana promise not to tell anyone. And he tells him, he was not Radheya, he was Kaunteya. He was the son of Kunti. He was the brother of the Pandavas. And in spite of knowing that he was the brother of the Pandavas, he fought with you, he fought for you, he fought against his brothers, he gave up everything for you. This made Duryodhana even more sad. Duryodhana was told, stop the war, finish it. Karna is also dead now. But he said, no, I have lived for too long as the king. I cannot live under anybody. I cannot surrender. It is impossible. I have lived like a prince, like a king for too long to live under Yudhishthira. And look what we've done to the Pandavas. You think they can forgive us? It is impossible for them to forgive us. So I just cannot surrender. And like this, he says, we are going to keep fighting. Now the next day, day 18 comes. And a next commander-in-chief is needed for the Kaurava army. And so it is decided that Ashwathama is going to, Shalya is going to become the next commander-in-chief of the army. And I'm going to try and tell it very quickly because time is flying. Shalya becomes the commander-in-chief of the army, and then they go to battle and they start to fight. And Bhagavan Krishna tells Yudhishthira, they're all thinking, who's going to defeat Shalya because he's so powerful? And Bhagavan Krishna says, Yudhishthira, you are going to have to fight Shalya. You're the only one who can defeat him because you have dharma. You're so dharmic, your dharma is what is going to make you defeat him. And so in a big fight, the two of them fight and he defeats Shalya. Nakula defeats Uluka, the son of Shakuni Mama, a wicked Shakuni Mama who was the cheater in the game of dice and all of that, right? Then Sahadev defeats Shakuni Mama. And like this, so many people are killed. And finally, there are only 4 people remaining on the Kaurava side. They had almost 1 million people more than the Pandavas. They had 4 people remaining on their side now. Duryodhana, Ashwathama, the son of Dronacharya, who was the son of Dronacharya, Kripacharya, their first guru, and one more person called Kritavarma. 4 of them now remaining. And the Pandava side had about 100 to 200 warriors and 200 horses, like that. The description is given. 200 chariots and a few hundred people remaining on the Pandava side. Duryodhana is just devastated that his mama is killed, his Shalya is killed, everybody is gone, it's just the 4 of them. And he gets on his horse and in despair he starts to just, like a crazy lost person, he leaves the battlefield and he starts to wander away. And on the way, even his horse dies and he really feels alone. And now he feels so alone and he goes, and as he's going towards the lake where he's going for some peace, he meets Sanjaya, who is the charioteer of Dhritarashtra, who's telling this whole story to his father, the king Dhritarashtra. And he tells Sanjaya, please tell my parents I'm so sorry for all the wrong that I have done. When your death is coming, you start to think a little more correctly. And so he apologizes. Now, the other 3 were like, where is Duryodhana? Let's go find him. And so they go and they find him by the lake, and he's about to enter the lake, and they say, what is going on? And he says, we're going to keep fighting. Don't worry, this war is not over. And Duryodhana is happy that he has their support. And he says, I just need to rest. My body is so tired. I'm going to enter this lake. And he has a power where he can make the lake still. And he wants to go in there and just rest and let his body rejuvenate, right? So he does that. And the Pandavas find out. Well, the Pandavas are looking like where is this Duryodhana? Where is he gone? And they find out he's gone into the lake, and they go and they call out to him, Duryodhana, why are you being such a coward? come out and fight, And Yudhishthira says that to him. And from inside the water he says, I don't want the kingdom anymore. You all take it. Everybody is dead. I don't want it anymore. And Yudhishthira says, how dare you? How dare you try to give me the kingdom when it is not yours to give anymore? How dare you try to give me this barren land that has been stained by the blood of everybody, which is not yours to give? How dare you try to pretend that you're gifting me this thing? I'm not going to take that from you. Come out and fight fairly. Like this he says. We have to fight. After all you've done, this ancient rivalry has to end. And Duryodhana says, I will fight. Don't worry. I will fight. I'm coming. I just came to rest. And he comes out. And Duryodhana says, I thought you were dharmic. I thought you followed dharma. How is it that all of you now want to attack just me? Meanwhile, he and 5 great other warriors had murdered Arjuna's son a few days ago. Single-handedly murdered Arjuna's son. But he says, you're so dharmic. How can you all fight with me? And Yudhishthira says, no. We're not going to fight with you unfairly. It's going to be a fair fight. And he says, you can choose to fight with any of us, with any weapon of your choice. And whoever wins that battle, the whole kingdom will be theirs. And Bhagavan Shri Krishna got so angry. He said, what is wrong with this Yudhishthira? Why is he just handing everything back to Duryodhana after they've finally gotten everything? Anyways, Duryodhana actually, he didn't have hatred for Yudhishthira. He hated Bhima, but he had respect for Yudhishthira. And he saw, at that point he saw really, this is indeed the brother of my best friend Karna. Because look how noble the two of them are. Like that he saw. Anyways, he says, Bhima comes to challenge him. And he says, I accept your challenge. Anyways, we are the 2 equals. We're strong. They're born on the same day, and they're same age, same everything. And so they decide that they're going to fight with the mace, the gada. So a gada yuddha is going to start. Balaramji, Krishna's brother, also comes at this time to watch this yuddha. And Balaram happens to be the guru of both of them. He taught both of them how to use the mace. And for some reason, I don't know, Balaramji in this birth, you know how Lakshmana, whatever Bhagavan Ram said he would follow, and everything Bhagavan Ram was correct. Well, in this avatar, somehow Balaramji's objective was to oppose everything Krishna said. And so he loved Duryodhana. Even such wicked people, they have good things in them. There's always another side. Anyways, he loved Duryodhana, and so he came to watch now his two disciples fight. And Krishna said to Bhima, this fight is not as easy as you think. You know, Duryodhana has been practicing on a metal image of you for 13 years. He has been practicing. He made a metal Bhima and fight with his Bhima every single day. And he said, Bhima is strong, but Duryodhana is more skilled. And in a duel, it is skill over power that wins, right? And so they start to fight. And I mean, I'm not going to go into the details, but there's descriptions of how this one hit this one and this one hit this one, and everything was going fine. Everyone was admiring this fight that was going on. And then Bhagavan Shri Krishna tells Arjuna that, remember Bhima had taken a vow to break Duryodhana's thigh? And at that time, because the fight was going on and on, it wasn't ending. And at that time, Arjuna points at his thigh. And Bhima sees and he remembers his oath. But the thing is, in Gada Yuddha, the rule is you're not allowed to hit someone below the waist. But now Bhima takes his mace and he strikes Duryodhana on his thigh. And Duryodhana's thigh breaks and Duryodhana falls. And Duryodhana gets so mad at how Bhima could have done this kind of thing. And Balaram gets so angry at how Bhima could have done this thing. And at this time, Bhima steps on Duryodhana's face and he said, I took an oath to break your thigh and step on your face, and now I have done it. And Yudhishthira said, Bhima, stop, enough now. He's your brother, don't insult him anymore. He's a great warrior, don't step on him again. And Yudhishthira tells Duryodhana at that time, you cannot blame Bhima because you brought this upon yourself. And all the people that have died, they have died because of you. So Yudhishthira tells this to Bhima. But now Balaram is so angry, he wants to kill Bhima. He's like, how dare Bhima break the rules? Why is Bhima doing this? And so Bhagavan Shri Krishna has to calm down Balaram, and he tells him all the wicked things that Duryodhana actually did before the war, after, during the war, and all of that. And now Balaramji finally was calmed down, and the Pandavas have officially won the Mahabararta war. The kingdom is officially theirs. Now Krishna says, don't kill Duryodhana, leave him. He's the worst sinner in the world. Just leave him to die. He needs to suffer the pain of all the sins he has done. He needs to go through the pain to atone for those sins. So just leave him to suffer for his papa. And at this time, Duryodhana insults Bhagavan Krishna. And he talks about how he was unfair. And he says, I know you are the one who pointed who reminded Arjuna about that oath, and you're the one, this whole war has happened because of you, and everybody is killed because of you, and you keep saying this and that. And Bhagavan Krishna gets angry and he says, stop. Everyone in this war is killed because of you. You are the reason. You have been killed because of your own adharma. Don't blame me. He said, you forgot? I came to Hastinapur and I said, let there be peace, after you had said over and over again, no. You forgot, you tried to imprison me. You forgot this, you forgot that, you forgot this, you forgot that. You forgot because of your greed and because of your jealousy, because of your adharma, this war was fought. Everybody died because of you, and you yourself are suffering because of your own adharma. Don't put this on me. You don't deserve any sympathy. This is what he says to him, very, very clearly. No vague terms. And then Duryodhana says, well, I'm dying a glorious death. I'm a warrior. I'm dying on the battlefield. I'm going to go to Swarga. Because the rule was, if a warrior dies on the battlefield, no matter who they are, they go to Swarga. He says, so I'm going to go to Swarga, and I'm going to be with everybody, and you are going to be here alone, and you're going to have to live in this kingdom that has been stained by the blood of everybody, and you're going to suffer by living. And the Pandavas realized, it pains the Pandavas because there's truth in that, right? And the Pandavas started to feel bad. And Krishna said, don't feel bad. He had to die because of what he had done to all of you. He has to suffer. In fact, each of the sins that he did was enough for him to die multiple times. That is how wicked this Duryodhana was. When he was born, the omens were so evil that Vidurji had told Duryodhana's father, sacrifice this child. He's going to be the cause of destruction of this whole lineage. So wicked he was. And Krishna said, if someone does papa to someone good, I will be ready to take on the papa if I have to make sure justice is served to that person. See how Bhagavan Krishna protects the one who follows dharma? Anyways, now Duryodhana is left to die. One big question comes in people's mind, that how is it that during the war, the Pandavas also started to do adharma? Yudhishthira told a lie. He hadn't told a lie in his whole life. Then Duryodhana was hit below the waist. Then Karna was killed when he wasn't ready, and so many things happened. The Pandavas started to also follow adharma, it feels. And the reason is because in war there are rules set, and everybody has to follow the same rules. If rules have been set and they're not being followed fairly by one side, then the fight becomes unfair, isn't it? How is it that one set of people have to live up to one standard and another set of people can do whatever? Then obviously by cheating and treachery they're going to win. So the law is you're not supposed to fight with people. You don't fight with people, right? But now if another country comes to attack you, is it your dharma to say, no, we're not supposed to fight with people? No, the circumstance changed. So dharma also changed in that circumstance. Now you have to get up and you have to fight. In the exact same way, the dharma is not a fixed thing. Dharma is what is done to protect the maximum number of people and to protect goodness. See, so sometimes dharma has to be seen from a different point of view. See this example. Over here, I don't know if it is, when you cross a road over here, can the police catch you? You can only cross at a junction? No, right? You cross anywhere? Or? You cross anywhere. Well, in Canada, there's a rule that you can only cross at a traffic light where there's a pedestrian crossing. And if you cross anywhere else, it is considered jaywalking, and you can get a fine for that. So now somebody is supposed to be walking on the sidewalk, on the side of the road. And then a drunk person comes, and cars are supposed to drive on the road and people are supposed to walk on the side. Now a drunk person comes and they start to drive on the sidewalk. Are you supposed to say, no, but it is my duty to walk on the sidewalk and not walk on the road? Circumstance has changed, so you have to stop walking on the side and you have to go walk on the road to save your life. Correct? So when the circumstance change, what is normally considered dharma will also change. If the Pandavas had stuck to what we call righteousness as defined by the book, adharma would have won. But dharma has to win at every cost. So we have to admit, it was not the ideal thing. Yudhishthira had to lie and so many things had to be done. But the principle is, people have to be ready to compromise on if I have to tell one lie and it will save thousands of people, then telling that lie is not the same as telling a lie to save myself. There's a big difference between the two. So we don't hold on to a single dharma to let adharma prevail in the long run. And that is why, because they were fighting against such an extreme case of adharma over here, they could not play by the book anymore. The context is different when people are playing by a different rule book. And the simplest answer to this is if Bhagavan Sri Krishna said that was the right thing to do, it was the right thing to do. Full stop. It was the right thing to do. So dharma is not black and white. And that is why we study Mahabharata, to remind ourselves dharma is not black and white. It is very gray. Now you can't go around saying, well, I'm going to break this dharma because it is for the better of everybody. Don't use it as a justification. Dharma has to be taught to us. We have to study it. We have to understand it. It is very complex. And in fact, at one place in this Mahabharata, there's a phrase that I think it is Yudhishthira who says, Dharma is very difficult to decipher. So when you don't know what to do, you follow what great people do. And that is how we figure out what is Dharma. Okay? Now, in one of the other Shastras, I can't remember, maybe Bhagavatam, there's a woman being chased by a bandit. And there's a Satyavrata, a person who has taken a vow to always tell the truth. Right? So the bandit comes and asks, did you see this woman running away? Now he's Satyavrata, he's bound to tell the truth. What should he do? He told, if he tells that he knows where she is, he's telling the truth. But that is considered papa because somebody's life is at stake. So like that, dharma is not just black and white, it is a dharma actually to tell where she went. Like this. Okay, now after this what happens is they leave that battlefield, they leave Duryodhana and he's suffering and all of that. And as they're going back to the camp, Bhagavan Shri Krishna stops. And he says, Arjuna, get down from your chariot. And Arjuna gets down from his chariot. And Arjuna is very attached to his chariot. You know how people are attached, they love their car? Some people really love their cars. Well, Arjuna loved his chariot. It was a divine chariot. And Bhagavan Shri Krishna got off the chariot after Arjuna. And as soon as Bhagavan Shri Krishna got off the chariot, Hanumanji, who was sitting on Arjuna's flag, he also got off the chariot. And as soon as Hanumanji left and Bhagavan Shri Krishna was off the chariot, this chariot went up in flames. Literally in flames. And Arjuna looked, he said, what just happened to my chariot? And Bhagavan Krishna said, this chariot, it is true it was divine. It has faced so many astras from Drona, from Karna, from Bhishma. And it is only because I was in this chariot and Hanumanji was in this chariot that this chariot was not destroyed. Not for any other reason. But now it has served its purpose. And now everything in this world has a purpose. Now that it has served its purpose, it's time for it to. In the same way, as long as we are alive, it means we have a purpose. The day that our purpose is done, this chariot called our body will also be taken away from us. It will be burned. As long as there's divinity in this body, there's a purpose for this body. As soon as divinity leaves and there's no purpose for this body, that is the end. And the other thing to remind ourselves is, so this body is actually being sustained by the grace of Bhagavan, not by what we eat. It is being sustained by the grace and power and presence of Bhagavan only. The second thing is, and this is the last thing I'll tell now, that so many times we do good deeds and then we think that the good deeds have been done by us and we have achieved this great thing. But we forget that we can only do anything in this world because of divine will, because of the presence of Bhagavan. And he tells Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, which came a little earlier in Mahabharata, that nimitta matra bhava savyasachin, you be an instrument and let me do the work. And if you observe, those who have been following the story will see, Arjuna was literally just an instrument of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Bhagavan Shri Krishna was orchestrating everything to kill the people on the side of adharma. He was playing with the elements of the universe for Arjuna to continue winning. He was changing when the sun sets, and he changed so many things in this universe for Arjuna to win, because Arjuna was just the instrument of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. When we remember that we are the instrument of Bhagavan and we surrender to whatever it is that we have been born to do and we do it fully, well, victory will be ours, guaranteed. Okay, so now the war is over, and now comes, after the war, all the things that happen. Now the Pandavas have to go and meet the parents of these cousins that they have just killed. Everyone has to come and mourn for the people who have died. So many things still have to happen, but we will see that tomorrow. This Mahabharata war that happens in us, it is studied in the book for us to learn how to deal with all of these characters in us, so that finally it is the goodness that is going to win in our heart. Okay, I went a few minutes over because I think we started also a few minutes late. I hope that is okay. I'll just share a couple of announcements and then we'll do Aarti. Thank you so much again to everybody at this mandir for hosting the 13th night of this yajna. It's called a 14th night yajna, but tomorrow it's daytime. Tomorrow we will be at Tushin Radhakrishna Mandir. 8 a.m. is the final satsang. If you want to see what happens, if you can't come because you have your own service and all here, it will be streamed online and you can watch it later. I know once you start to hear the story, it is so enthralling that you want to keep finding out what happened. Actually, I read this Mahabharata when I was a teenager, right? The English version. When I was a teenager, I read it. And it was so mesmerizing that I didn't want to sleep. I didn't want to stop reading it because I didn't want to stop knowing what is going to happen. Anyways, this is the wonderful Mahabharata. Okay. Chinmaya Mission is a teaching organization. And we're here. Our ashram is in Monripo. If you ever cross the new bridge to, when it's ready and you want to go to the other side and all, please do plan to stop and visit us. It will be wonderful to have you come and see our Chinmaya Mission ashram there in Monripo. Chinmaya Mission, what we do is we teach. We teach anything in Hinduism. To chant or the meaning, we teach Pandit course, and any Shastra, Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata, like that, symbolism in Hinduism. We teach all ages also, age appropriate. When the child is in the womb, all the way till a person becomes a senior, there's a specific curriculum meant for the person's development. So if you're interested in this or you know anyone interested in it, please let them know. Our classes are online and they're also in person in different places across Guyana. Okay. Next month we will start Bhagavad Gita chapter 12 chanting. We will start to train people who are interested in becoming teachers to teach Bhagavad Gita chapter 12 chanting. If anyone in this mandir would like to become a teacher, what it will involve is you will log in 2 times a week, half an hour sessions, and we will teach you how to chant this chapter. And if you pass with 100%, then, and it is our responsibility to make sure you pass with 100%. Right? If you pass with 100%, then we will invite you to be a teacher to teach it now for the National Bhagavad Gita Chanting Competition in Guyana that will be held from January to April. So if there's anyone interested in learning and teaching this chapter 12, please see me and I'll give more details. When we chant anything and we memorize it and we know how to chant it properly, it becomes ours. And when something becomes ours, then it starts to reveal its secrets to us. Chapter 12 is the chapter that summarizes everything to do with devotion in Sanatana Dharma in Hinduism. It's a wonderful, wonderful chapter. Okay. Oh yes, after you've learned it, you can come and teach it in the mandir to any, not just children, to anybody of any age. And in the mandir itself, you can, in person is best. So if you learn it and then you can come and teach it yourself, that is super. Okay, there's a few, you'll see at the back, we have some books, Chinmaya Mission publications we've brought. This is called The Vision of Bhagavad Gita. People wonder, they hear the word Bhagavad Gita all the time, but what exactly is it? And if you don't have the time or interest to study all 700 verses in detail, this book gives in simple English the vision of this whole beautiful text. Parenting, the amount of questions that we get for parenting is unimaginable. Please don't wait till your teenagers don't listen to you to ask what is the right thing to do. If you know anybody who is a young parent or interested in becoming a parent, one day you give them this book now itself. We have bhajan books. This one is bhajans for babies. You know, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and all those nursery rhymes? They took those same tunes and they rewrote lyrics for Ganesha, Hanuman, Durga and all. So instead of singing Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, they can sing Ganesha and Hanuman and like that. And then we have an adults bhajan book as well, you can see at the back. We have most are sold out now. We have some children books. The same stories from Puranas and Itihasas, but taken and put into picture form for children to read every day. And then we have storybooks. You can tell one story a day to a child. You can tell a story a week in the mandir to the children. Like that. So many different books. Please come in, check them out. Alright, thank you again. We will do Aarti, right? Bhagavad Gita Aarti. Please stand for Aarti. Bhagavan Vishnu Mangalam Garudadvajaha Mangalam Pundarikaksham Mangalayatanu Harihi Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki Jai. Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj ki Jai. Har Har Namah Parvati Pataye. Har Har Mahadev. Hari Om.